everybody. Welcome to the Long Bangers Thursday phone-in association with Leith Spirits. I'm Matty and joined by... Oh, jeez, Jeff, I just noticed your background. I was away farting about with YouTube to get that up and running, and I look up to see Space Dog at the background.
It is Flash. Quite appropriate, really.
Flash. Brilliant.
Famous dog.
Right, we will get, I suppose, just get stuck right into things just now. We've got the Rangers game to look back on. We've got Motherwell on Saturday to look ahead to. And then we did an extra time on Monday night about picking the strongest 11, which we had a bit of difficulty with. Most of the difficulty come with trying to explain to John and Colin what number 10 was, admittedly. And I don't know if they were just pretending to play dumb or whether they are actually stupid. It's hard to tell them sometimes. But we got there in the end. Jeff, let's kick off for you tonight.
Okay.
Game on Sunday. What were your thoughts?
Disappointed. Quite pleased with the way we played. It was nice to go there and go toe-to-toe with one of the old firm teams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they had a bit of a European hangover, coupled with our... we've certainly improved in midfield since the transfer window shut, and you can see that by the games we've played since then, when Trantis and Quanah together. So yeah, I watched the European, what do you call it, the Champions League highlights on the iPlayer today. And I watched all those penalties flying in, and it's just like it was breaking my heart, because we should have taken something from there. I think everybody will agree.
Yeah.
The penalties are, I feel sorry for Big Miko. I hope he gets a goal on Saturday just to make up for it. But we certainly, I thought when he took Quan off, I don't know if that was tactical or whether Quan was feeling the pace. I did notice Chiantis pulled up just before he got taken off. So hopefully it's not a serious injury, but he wouldn't have taken him off unless he was injured. I heard some people criticising him for substituting him, but he certainly had a knock. But yeah, so disappointed. I thought Gale's header was in.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody, I couldn't believe it wasn't rippling in the back of the net. So disappointed. They were there for the taking on Sunday, but that was a lot of that was down to the way we played, and not just the European hangover.
What do you think was behind our sort of improved performance? I totally agree. Everything you said there, I thought we played well and deserved more than what we got from the game. So what do you think made us tick on Sunday?
We didn't leave ourselves wide open through the middle. I'm trying to think back to the other games against Rangers where they overloaded the wings as well. Even though they overloaded our right, their left a little bit in the first half. And Lewis Miller wasn't really on it first half. And I'm a big Lewis Miller fan, but he was clearly having one of those days where, he had a touch like a midwife. Nothing was coming off. So I think we forced them wide, and generally we coped well with that, apart from one occasion. And they couldn't come through the middle of us because of Quan and Triantis, whereas before, the previous midfield we had was, they weren't by going forward. Defensively, we were porous. So I think that was a big difference. Any other differences? No, I think the new central defensive pairing is looking good. Some muppet on Hibs, one of the Hibs fans things on Facebook said it was like watching Bambi on ice on Sunday with egg potato.
Egg potato.
I'm like going, what game are you watching? He made one bad header where he stooped down in the first half and knocked it to the Rangers player. But on the deck, I don't think anything got past him. I mean, I haven't watched the game back already. I just watched it live, so I'm like everybody else. But yeah. So probably the midfield too, forced them wide. Everybody was on their game. Lewis Miller came on a good game second half. He was one of our, better attacking outlets. Yeah, that was it, Matty. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you make of Bursic? Bursic came in a bit of early season criticism, but probably pulled off his best save so far of his Hibs career, right in the depth of that Dessers header.
Yeah, his distribution was good. He put a few out of play. But just try to get us up the field quickly. I'm not bothered about one or two going out of play. When you're playing passes that long, he was trying to play up to Miller, I think, once in the second half, and it went straight out. It might have been the other side. It might have been a beater. I can't remember. He's looking okay. I'm glad he's made a save. because I can't remember him making a save that you think, wow, that was a save. That was like David Marshall when he first came into the Hibs team. Made against Hearts, made a couple of really good saves, and hopefully he'll kick on, and maybe the fans will get off his back a wee bit as well, which will help.
I hope so. I think that kind of goes for everybody. We're almost reached the point where I think folk are on side with what's going on now. Like the St Johnstone performance was good, the Rangers performance, despite the result, was good, and I think folk are starting to see what David Gray's doing with the team.
Yeah,
they've got a bit of trust now in the signings that we've made, and things are looking a bit more positive. I'll bring you in. What were your thoughts about it all on Sunday?
It's funny. I heard a couple of things that I've never heard before. And on the subway, I'd heard 3 Rangers supporters agreeing that today is the real test. It was quite interesting hearing that. Obviously, they're writing off the Celtic, but they said today was the real test. I thought it was interesting hearing that. And also, after 32 minutes, the Rangers crowd started getting impatient. So they started getting impatient, really impatient. Obviously, the penalty was hopeless. I agree with a lot of what Jeff said there. The penalty just doesn't make any sense. It must have been, anyone who's coached any team at any level, the person that takes a penalty is the one who's taken them at training and scored more. So you have a penalty competition at training, and then whoever scores the most penalties is the person that takes the penalty. That was a terrible penalty. It was absolutely awful. Obviously, we deserve to go in level at half time. It was funny, Matty, because obviously being at the game as opposed to watching on the telly, you do have a different perspective. And it was quite funny hearing, well, it wasn't funny, I heard you praising Kwon, and I thought he was anonymous in the first half. Obviously, he had a good shot, but I thought he was anonymous. But, it might well be that he spent most of his time in a defensive role. But in the second half against St Johnstone, he really came into an attacking role. And so maybe Kwon, maybe he was doing a job that I didn't really recognise. You can't really see at that level, at the pitch level, Josh actually made quite a difference up in terms of not letting them out, not letting Rangers out. And I think that's one of the things he did. So Kaharovic and Josh were knackered. Josh, as usual, looked knackered all the time, right from the start. But they were closing people down very, very quickly. And they weren't letting Rangers out easily. Obito was clearly keeping Tavernier quiet, which was good. It really was, because Tavernier's always been a real danger to us. As Jeff said, because Rangers were double teaming down our right, Miller was a bomb scare on multiple occasions in the first half. He really was, but the longer the game went on, the better he got, and he really was terrific. In the second half, the pressure, we had lots of pressure, corners, free kicks. Obviously, Josh had a pitiful attempt in the first half. Second half, the ball was just behind them. But obviously, that save you were talking about is, but from our angle, it looked like it was a dead set goal, but I don't know how much.
Yeah.
And but our pressure was pretty constant after the hour. And obviously, the shots, we must have shots on target. It's just awful. The fact that Kwon hit twice over the top, it's just, I can't believe that we can't hit the target. But Ellie, in my view, Ellie was just absolutely awful. And to me, this should be his last game for Hibs, and I'll sum it up why at the end. But Rangers, towards the end of the game, Rangers didn't play out for them from the back. They started, I remember it vividly, it was the first time you hadn't played out from the back. And it was because of the pressure we were putting on them. And the natives were really getting restless at that point. And the Rangers started wasting time, which I've never seen before. And but compared to the end of last season, where we got beat 3-1 and it was Molina scored, and we all had all our stars, we had Macondes and all these guys. I think we capitulated in that game. I think it was March. And compared to that, we were far, far better. But funnily enough, the point you made on Sunday night, you thought that when the subs came on, we were weaker. Now, I didn't think that at all.
Okay.
I didn't think that. I thought the subs were deliberately brought on to try and score, and really made us quite an attacking force. Now, obviously, Cadden's great ball to Gale, that was terrific. But Cadden looked knackered the rest of the time, and obviously his shot where he chested it down. Miller was brilliant in injury time, and that last-minute chance from Levitt. But overall, I was dissatisfied because we didn't test the keeper enough. The shot's not hitting the target. I just wanted to say one thing on David Gray. I feel he's made 2 mistakes now. It's the same mistakes that I and probably lots of new managers, new bosses have made. And one of them was making Martin Boyle vice captain. And it was obvious just an attempt to get Martin to kind of, either be more stable or whatever. I think that was a mistake. He's just not that kind of guy. But I've made that mistake myself, giving people responsibility that seemed like a good idea, but they turned out not to be. And his second big mistake is giving Ellie multiple chances. He really shouldn't be giving Ellie any more chances. I think he's shot his bolt, and I think he should just not be anywhere near the first team. So,
is there an argument to be made though, Ian, with Ellie Youan that this guy's come back for injuries. He's only played, 2 halves, if that's a half and half a half. The football since coming back is. Last season we saw what he's capable of. The season before we saw what he's capable of. Is it? Is there merit in that argument? Do you think?
Do you remember his injury?
Yeah, he's clattered the keeper in the League Cup, but I don't know if that was his only injury or if he picked up another one in training after it. Or
that was supposed to be it, and it didn't really look much of an injury at the time to me. The point is that when he came on as a sub, right, and you've got to rank him against the other subs.
Mm-hmm.
All the other subs were better than him. All of them. Yeah. And when he comes on, he doesn't attempt to tackle, he doesn't cover back. All his passes go to the opposition, and he just looks like he doesn't want to be there. So it's a mistake to play a player who clearly doesn't want to be there. And in my view, it's clear he doesn't want to be there.
John, you want to come
in? Ian raises a valid point in terms of performance. I don't think Ellie in these coming on in the past couple of games has given us anywhere near the player we thought was going to get sold for £3 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think the challenge, having been involved in probably like Ian and yourselves, the management of sort of teams of people, it's what's going on in the background. And it may actually be that actually going away from the first team squad, and getting a break in time. What is going wrong? Is his wee one unwell? Has the abuse that he got over the summer tipped him over? Is there a transfer that he thought was going to happen not happened? This is where the management of David Gray and the coaches comes in. It's not about writing off a player who was performing brilliantly for us a year ago. It's turning around and saying, how do the coaches find that player again, get his boots back on, get the confidence in his head so that he can come on for that last 15, 20 minutes, because Hoylett's nicked his space. In Hoylett, we're seeing a player that we want to see. We're seeing a player that Ellie should be able to look up to. But yeah, performance-wise, yes. And this is where the question comes back to sort of David Gray. He's trying different things clearly to get it to work. I don't know what's going on in the background. I'm just saying there could be multiple things.
Yeah.
But I agree with the point, but I don't think I would write him off for the whole season now.
Ian, what do you say to that, Ian?
As usual, John is the voice of reason. And he's younger than me. But he's had a haircut, it looks like. I would probably agree that if we had, I think what you said the other day I think it was on Extra Time, and I think I can't remember if it was John or Colin said he should have a chance in the B team, and you said we haven't got a B team.
I think it was Colin that said it, maybe. But yeah,
we're going to the B team with his daughter. But I just think, to me, the point I'm making is David Gray's made a mistake bringing him in that frame of mind, thinking that by playing him, it'll fix whatever's wrong, right? And it's the same with Martin Boyle. Martin Boyle, you think, is a bit unsettled, so you make him vice captain, right? And you think that's going to make him more settled, but he just isn't suited to that role, right? And so Ellie, in my view, shouldn't be in the team at the moment.
I think the difficulty for David Gray is, and Ellie Youan, is that Ellie's performances will be what keeps him out of the team just now. Like, I don't think Hibs are good enough to carry passengers, and It's a difficult one. We spoke about it on Sunday and said that it's probably David Gray's biggest challenge that he's got for between now and January at least is how do you get a tune out early. And John, I totally agree with you. Like I think understanding the issue behind the performance is absolutely critical, and then how you manage that. And the coaches have got a job, and also Ellie's got a job in that as well, that he has to kind of embrace the help and want to do it too.
As you said, we can't have passengers just now, and David Gray made that point, and I think it's a terrific timing that he made it, and you stress it as well on Sunday. This is the least performance we can expect from now on, right? There's no reason whatsoever why Hibs cannot play that well every week now. There's absolutely no reason, right? So, and therefore, I don't think the passengers fit into that.
I think that's kind of where the team needs to get to overall, isn't it? Is that there's an expectation, a level of performance required to get a start, and then you need to maintain it. And I think that came out of our conversation on extra time on Monday when we were trying to pick the team. And there's a few places up for grabs, and you sort of really appreciate that if you're not at the top of your game, there is somebody just now snapping at your heels to take your spot. I'll bring Shay in. Shay, what did you make of it on Sunday? What did you think of the penalty we got? First of all, like the actual decision and the lack of red card, etc. Were you all right with the referee's choices there?
I think it was a penalty. As much as it has been given, I think in some situations I don't think he would have gave it because they've either not given it for what or they have. But I think I stand with it. I'm not sure on the red card. I've seen a clip of where I think there was one at up in Motherwell or something. And somebody done the same and got red carded. So they said why was it John Suter sent off? But I'm not sure. It didn't look like a red card because he wasn't actually putting his hands out like that to actually be a goalie. But I'll give him a booking at least the very worst. I stand with the decision.
It's a strange rule because they seem to apply it frivolously, willy nilly. Like when McCurdy had his shot at Pataudry that was net bound and the boy handballed it, and he didn't get sent off. And that was a goal all the way. I mean, the boys pretty much just saved it. And then you see that one at Motherwell, the boy gets a card, nobody questions it, and then Suter doesn't get a red card. I mean, I've seen some explanations about Butland was in a position to save it, or then there's a podcast called Behind the Whistles, which a couple of former referees who sort of explained that they thought it should have been a red card because it was a denial of the goal scoring opportunity. Yeah. What did you think of Miko's penalty, Shay? Were you right?
Oh yeah, I think everybody was. I can't really think of anybody that wouldn't be. But I think in most situations, in front of 50 odd, close to 60,000 people away from home. I think nerves really kicked in to try and get a goal against them and try and get the confidence up to. I think if we scored, it would have maybe been a confidence booster, but it's still in there. I think if it was me taking the penalty, I would have been breaking it purely because it's any goal far away. It's like a big game.
Yeah.
We'll get us further up the league and whatever if we've got the point or goal to win. But I'm with him because I think it was either Ian or John that said hope he scores at the weekend.
Aye.
Just to get the confidence booster.
What did you think of the team performance overall, Shane?
I thought they were good. I think we frustrated Rangers in the first half. Then I think we were unfortunate with the goal. It was a good goal. It was a good strike from Lawrence. But I thought we could have took the game to them. Like Dwight Gale's chance as well. I thought that was close to going in. So we had every right to win. I think we could have went away with winning 2 or 3-1 and winning. But I don't think Rangers actually looked that good at all.
Nah, but what do you think of the progress the team have made since the start of the season under David Gray? Are you seeing progression there, Shay?
Yeah, I'll say so. The last sort of couple of weeks or game weeks anyway that we've had, like St Johnston, then yesterday, I think we've looked better as a team now. I think we're able to I think now that we've got all our signings in, I think we now have got time to gel. So like I don't want to say it's bad that we were out, like good that we're out the cup, sorry, but like I think now because we can focus on just building up until January, trying to pick up form, and then see how we are in January or even in the summer, depending on if we want to make signings. See how it goes. But I think we've looked good. I thought Marvin Patel was really good. So I'm hoping that's our confidence booster because he's been a bit shaky. So I'm hoping that Sunday's performance was a confidence booster.
Agree.
Yeah, I think he's looked good. Actually, like, I remember the conversations earlier in the season, and sort of making the point that the wee mistakes or the big mistakes they've made are they likely to be characteristic of him, because to get a career at this level, you kind of make mistakes like that week in, week out. So I think we're seeing the player that we thought we had signed now. Dave, I'll bring you in. You went through. You got tickets last minute as well. What was the experience of getting the tickets like? Was it a PDF email to you?
It was, but I went with my son, who's a student, and I had to pay full price because they weren't available for the concessions, which was a bit a bummer. But I quite enjoyed the day. But I think the big difference with the whole day, and I think David Gray's got to get some credit. I think the team came out with a bit of belief, and like when you go to Ibrox, you've got to handle the crowd, the occasion, your opposition, and you've got to be mindful of the referees because they're always looking to hand something out. And I thought the team played really, really well. They started well, and with the exception of Miller, he kind of looked a wee bit kind of sky, but I think they grew into confidence. They grew in confidence, sorry, and I think Rangers' confidence ebbed a wee bit. But I'm with you, Matty. I think the subs actually weakened the team a wee bit. I think they lost a bit of our edge. I thought Hoylett was exceptional, and it'd be nice to have Ellie as in form as a kind of 30-minute impact sub, but he just certainly wasn't that. But he must have been doing it in training to make the bench, and David Gray's probably felt justified in his selection, but he kind of failed on the day. But I genuinely think Boyle, if Boyle was coming on for the last 20, I think he would have made the difference. But everybody will say it's a defeat. Well, we came away with nothing. But I think in the development of the team, there was a lot there. I think the goalkeeper looked confident and assured with his defenders in front of them, and they looked confident with the protection the midfield were giving them. So I think we've got to see that on Saturday. The next step is taking care of Motherwell quite comfortably, and you would say we're heading in the right direction, because Rangers at Ibrox is a big ask, and I think we really kind of accounted ourselves quite well on the day, albeit we never probably got our rewards. But you can't miss penalties at Ibrox and expect to come away with anything, to be fair.
Did you have any complaints about there not being a red card? Or
it was one of them. I mean, it does kind of look like a wee change of direction with his elbow to get a deflection, but are you going to get that there? You're never getting that there. Well, we'll not. If it was at the other end of the pitch, I dare say it might have been a card, but you've got to be realistic with your expectations. I thought for their goal, we were sitting right on quite a good line for it, and I was texting my family saying he was 4 yards off. I couldn't actually believe it when it went to VAR, and the goal, I was convinced he was like miles off, and the linesman actually was quick on the flag for once. He was kind of straight up with the flag, but I thought as season goes and the direction the travel the teams go, you'd like to say there's definitely progress there, and you think Dave Gray's having an impact and influence in the team, and the team's gelling. I think it's easy to see that we're looking better. Just a shame we've not got Boyle in the team to come on, but I think I was relatively happy with the day, and they were very quiet. They were hanging on, and we didn't see that often through there.
No, I think they scored with their one and only shot on target in the first half, and I think it took till maybe it was 70 odd minutes before they got a shot on target in the second half, which is good going at Ibrox for an away team to sort of subdue them like that. Ian, you had your hand up there.
It was just because I had deliberately not said what I was going to say, but Dave's just said it. I was absolutely convinced he was offside. I was absolutely convinced. Absolutely. I mean, I was like, he's offside by miles. You know, it's funny Dave saying that. And also funny, I just realised that £36 is what we paid. We paid £36 for the bloody ticket, even us pensioners, you know? Isn't that ridiculous? £36.
So I think Hibs charged 38 quid for the corresponding fixture at Easter Road. I saw I saw a bit of noise about it, and I was like, I want to really jump in on it. I think Hibs charged more than that. Maybe not for the pensioners, right enough, but
there's no concession, as Dave said. There's no concession. Yeah.
John, I know you kind of pitched in on early, but I'll get your thoughts on the game, and then I'll come to Joe as well, just after you.
Well, I'm hoping that Miko's had his wee Jason Panenka moment. I mean, because that's immediately what went through my head when I saw it. I thought, I could see myself back at Hampden that day as he chipped the ball over the bar against Dundee United. I mean, and it was that whole idea of the absolute arrogance and belief of youth that they need to have. You didn't play at that end of the pitch without that absolute confidence in what you're going to do. And looking back on it, he'll be kicking himself because the goalie sold that so early. I mean, every other player in British football who does that technique will have seen the goalie move almost 2 seconds before he kicked it. I mean, and would have gone the other way. But no, hopefully that's his wee Panenka moment. I mean, and he goes on and does well. I'm probably with the referees, the sort of the behind the whistles guys. I thought it was a red because I think that there's a clear movement towards the ball. The flip side of that, though, is that that's them having had time to look at it, freeze frame. And what I don't want to happen is VAR taking 10 minutes over every bloody decision. I mean, I would quite happily get rid of it unless it's matters of fact. I mean, because for us and those that are in the stadium, it's just an absolute nightmare. Miller, I think I'm not as kind about his second half performance. I thought he was still. I mean, Bursick makes a cracking save. You know what I mean? The worldie, he should make save. It goes to Miller, who clearly can't kick with his left foot because it goes straight up in the air and comes back down on our 6-yard line. And how the Rangers player running in onto it doesn't score and just does a wee tap header back into Bursich's hand. He's a heart and head player. You know what I mean? I mean, I really when you were doing your team and I'm sitting saying who's right back. My head is saying it's going to be Cadden, but my heart wants it to be Miller. Now, he gives us that blood and thunder, a bit of tactics. He gives us a long throw. He gives us a long throw on the other side. He gives us a bit more height. But that was the thing for me in terms of sort of the Miller side. But no, I thought the tone that David Gray set afterwards. I mean, if that is a standard that we set in terms of how we're going to play. Effectively, our story is we were unlucky. We made a mistake ourselves with the penalty. Gale I mean, you could see by Gale's reaction. I mean, how absolutely gutted he was. I mean, Butland had thought it was in. I mean, everybody thought it was in. So there's so many things that are good out of it. And that's, as others have said, that's the standard now. We play at that level, with that level of intensity, with that level of quality, then we will create chances against teams. And it's then about what we do. And that's what we've got to get to. And that's what we've been trying to get to for a while. I mean, as we set our standard out, we go out and play as well as we can play, and it's for others to catch up with us.
Yeah. There was a comment made, I can't remember if we spoke about it last week as well. David Gray, earlier in the season, it was after one of the games where we had John late on, I think, and he was talking about a bit short-term pain for long-term gain, waiting on players kind of coming back and being available. Since then, I think after that we brought Chiantis in, we brought Hoylett's come into the team. We're starting to see, I think, a David Gray team now. Do you think it's starting to bear fruit now, John? This is us seeing the long-term side of it, I know it's only like a few games down the road, but like that is a long time in football, isn't it?
Well, I think it's that whole idea is just focus on your next couple of weeks. I think it was a shame not to have Nicky Cadden on the bench. I mean, I don't think he even made the bench, so we don't know whether
Yeah.
there's been a knock there. Because him and Boyle, I mean, as Dave says, having that coming sort of either left or right coming on at the end of the game would have been good. We know that Bowie will be next year before he's back. We've got Newell to come back to impact in that midfield. Again, my number 10's Levitt. I mean, I know that there's a lot of folk who say there's no been the performances there, but when you were sitting having that discussion the other night, I mean, I'm saying it has to be Levitt because if we're going to put somebody in there who's going to approach anything around Scott Allen in terms of how he influenced games, he's the only one we've got. I mean, the other two will do the sort of the McGinn and the McGeoch roles. And
yeah. Do you know what I think with Levitt is? I think his distance passing is better. I think almost like and we have this chat on one of the WhatsApp groups I'm in, and Raymond, who sometimes is on here, was on it. I'd mentioned like the sort of the quarterback role. I think Levitt's good at that more than a number 10.
We saw at St Johnstone last year. We don't want him making passes in his own penalty area. But against Celtic, if you give him the ball on the edge of the area, he'll stroke it past the goalie. I mean, he's a player that in the opposition half, final third, I mean, has the potential to come alive. And if you've got Triantis and Quan patrolling the rest of the field, I mean, the ability for them to move around. As I say, he's not done anything. But no, I thought that Gray's got a good squad that's settling together. It would be nice if we could have had Newell, Boyle, Bowie, Nicky Cadden, I mean, on the bench there. Because, yeah, I did think there was a bit of a throw of the dice towards the end by David Gray in terms of just putting players to get up the pitch. Love Harry McCurdy, love the energy, but you would want any of those four players ahead of him.
Yeah.
And again, we look at Ellie's performances as well. Those players allow you to put those on the bench. They're not going to knock Ellie's confidence in terms of who's getting picked ahead of him. And you're putting them on, they have better impact.
I think I mentioned about the team being weaker after the subs came on. I have no problem with what David Gray did with chasing a goal, like putting the attacking players on. I thought it was quite a brave thing to do as well. And it's one of these things. I think you accept that you're maybe going to give up something in order to sort of increase your chances of scoring. So I didn't mind that, but I agree with you, John. I think if you had Boyle or Cadden rather than McCurdy coming off, then you're in a better place.
And the thing is that even the cross that Cadden puts in, it goes from, I think, the centre. We're at the back with the ball. Centre back gets it into the midfielder, who quickly gets it up the line to Cadden, who's then attacking and gets. I mean, that's what we've got to be doing. I mean, that was how quickly you can do it.
Yeah, I was quite impressed with the bravery of the team on the ball. But sometimes we don't see that at Ibrox in particular, where players were happy to take the ball in and stay on the ball rather than getting rid of it as quickly as they could. That was quite good to see. I tell you what, I'll open this up to everybody, but John, because I'm speaking to you just now, I'll let you kind of come in first with it, but feel free to jump in, everybody here. Newell, Mark Boyle, Ellie Youan, three of our best players over recent seasons, out the team for possibly our best performance of the season. How do they get back into the team? Like, where do you fit them back in, and who would you be taking out for them?
Essentially, Newell takes the third position in midfield, depending on who you're playing. Don't want him to stop the development of Molotnikov in that position. And as I say, my preference is if we are playing against a team that we're looking to unpick, I would rather be having sort of the Levitt in there. Newell has shown occasionally that you can do that wee deft ball into the area. But I suspect as club captain, there's probably a lot of confidence around about him. He's just been given a new contract. I mean, that's where he would come in. Boyle, we saw him coming on for the last half hour against St Johnstone. I mean, against defenders who've already run for 60 minutes. I mean, the injuries that have taken a bit of pace away from him had less impact. And clearly, if he wants to make his mark, that's what I would be doing with him to start with. Ellie, keep him around the first team squad. wrap them up in blankets. I mean, the staff there should know how to look at them, how to make them feel better, get round about that, and start introducing them with the sort of 5 to 10 minutes to go. Then he put him in thinking he's going to get half an hour of brilliance. That would be my thinking.
Okay, Ian.
The point being discussed on extra time, although you spent 20 minutes talking about what a number 10 was, it was quite interesting because you paraphrased David Gray talking about how he would play different players depending on what teams we were playing, right? So in other words, we would have the ability to bring in specific players depending on the type of team we're playing or how we want to play. Now, David Gray said that, and he meant not just the tactics. He was talking in response to what Monty had done, and Monty had a style of play that was basically wanted to play in every game. Now, David Gray said he would play differently depending on he would play to win the game, right? Yeah. And that means both the tactics and the players. And obviously, in England, you see some of the most fantastic football players being left out of the team. And what seems to be a less skilled player going in. And that's clearly because the coaches have decided that to play in this way against that team, they need these types of players. So I think that the scope of that, as long as players are getting into the squad, I think that's fine. So as long as I would have, and I've got a general rule, which I think I've mentioned before, is I would always play a signed player rather than a loan player. So much as I think Kwon is a very good player, I would much rather play one of our signed players. And the same with Rudy, as John said. There is Rudy. I would have Rudy on the bench all the time. And if there was a team that we thought that Rudy could do a job against, maybe for 60 minutes, then I think we should bring him in. So I think the squad's there for a reason, and as long as players getting in the squad, there shouldn't be a problem.
That would be Kwon and Chantis you're dropping for your permanent head of loan, and the goalie as well.
So is Chantis still on loan?
Yeah, Chantis was a season-long loan as well.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, Chantis, I thought was tremendous last season. And I loved him playing in midfield when he got to defence. I loved him playing in midfield. And I was really pleased. I would definitely, much as Bursic made a fantastic save, I would much rather play our own goalkeeper rather than a loan keeper. What is the point of having goalkeepers that we then send out on loan to other teams, when we've got very good goalkeepers? So I would definitely play our own players. I would side with them. I would give them an extra point in the equation of selection if they're one of our players. That would put them higher up the pecking order, in my view.
Fair dues. Shay, where would you stand? Joe Newell, Mark Boyle, Youan, would you be forcing them into the team, or do you think they've got to bide their time now?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because Mark Boyle proved that he has got something in him against St. Johnstone, came off the bench, then dinked him with a goal. But I think he should show it more, or like the next on a game to prove that he can start. To be honest, I thought on Sunday, we were maybe going to miss Boyle's pace on the wing. But I don't think we did as much as I thought. Just like if we manage to get that sort of just that one pass, boom, then he's up.
Yeah,
2 on goal or 2 on 1 with the goalie and a centre half. But it's the same with any player. So it won't be just them. I think it will get to the point where it's maybe someone in there, but it turns out that when they swap in, that player was trying to get their position back from Boyle and Youan and stuff. So I think it's just depending on what they're also doing in training and how much of an impact they're making on the game day. So I'm really not sure, but especially in the midfield, I'm not sure who Newell would actually get in for, because I think Chantis and Kwon have been good as a defensive pair, but
yeah,
I'm really not sure at the minute. It would be that good. It's going to be so hard for them to get in.
Fair enough. Joe, I'm going to bring in. Welcome to the phone in.
Yeah, Sorry, I had a problem with my microphone, but can you hear me okay now?
No, I hear you fine. Yeah, thanks for jumping on. So I would have come to you just after we spoke to John to get your thoughts on the Rangers game. We'd sort of moved on to talk about Joe Newell and Martin Boyle, etc. But since you've come back on, what did you think of the game on Sunday?
Well, I thought basically the team is coming together. I mean, you got to remember there's all these new players together, but we've got a setup with a goalie and two centre backs that seem to have, after one or two early errors, have settled in. The new players coming in are quite exciting. The midfield with Kwon and Triantis as the two central players of the midfield. Suddenly we've got a midfield. Now, okay, I know these guys are only on loan for a season, but let's get this season out of the way. But I think we've got a solid core, Matty, for a good season ahead. They need a wee bit more time to blend in.
Mm-hmm. It was one of the things I think, I can't remember who it was, Shea had asked about that progression for the team from sort of the start of the season to now. Are you happy that we're going in the right direction?
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, apart from, the horrid start against St Mirren, Celtic at Parkhead's always going to be tough. There's been gradual progress each game, and you need to build from the back. Suddenly, the goalkeeper and the two centre halves seem solid at last. Mm-hmm. I've been following Hibs for many, many years. My first game was the 15-1 game against Peebles Rovers, so that shows my age.
Downhill for there, eh?
Well, just a bit, but no, I think we've got the start of a solid team, much better than we've had the last few seasons. There's a good spine to the team, and you need that. If you go back to Os Mourinho, you used to always start from the back, build from the back. I think we've got a solid base at the back now, Matty.
It's something that we probably not had for a wee while. Was just that sort of confidence in the defence. I didn't think Rangers troubled us at all. Like, I mean, they got the goal with their only shot on target and very little in the second half as well, which is good going. On Joe Newell and Martin Boyle and Ellie Youan, Joe, how do you see them get back into the team?
Well, what's the state of play? When are they likely to be fit? Do we know?
I'm not sure. I think they're a couple of weeks away at least.
I mean, I don't think they'll feature this Saturday. I think Newell's got to come back in, though, somehow or another. I mean, he is the captain. And with the solid base we've got in the middle of the park, as well as a solid defence now, I think you might see Joe Newell rise to what he's capable of, because he's carried a hell of a lot of weight with a lot of crap around him on his shoulders.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the points Marvin Bartley made when we had Marvin on. He said he reckoned that Newell suffered from having to do more than one person's job. So
I can't wait to get to Easter Road on Saturday. I really can't.
Good. Well, that takes us nicely on, Joe, to the Motherwell games. Just before I go into that, we did have a question in from Davy Granules. I like that username, Davy Granules instead of anyway, Gravy. Retro strips. Anybody a fan of retro strips is asking. Shay, your hand up there. You're a strip collector?
I'm not as much as a strip collector, but I love, remember when they brought out the proper old striped kit we've got now from the 90s. When they restarted the shop as a replica, I was like, straight on it. I bought it. But I love I want to try and be a kit collector. I've been lucky to get a couple of signed ones, like two behind me. So this one's from the Hibs ladies from 2 or 3 seasons ago, and this one's from the first season back up. This one here.
Who's it signed by? Is that like a full squad signed one?
I think so. Nice. It's like that team before January, so I just missed out on Jamie McLaren and Canberra, but I've got Stokes' signature. I'm not sure how much that'll be worth now, considering what's happening. But
he's not getting them out anymore, is he? So,
but then I won another one. I won last season's home kit with the sort of start of last season's squad on it.
Yeah, nice one.
I love that stuff. So if I sell it, I could hopefully be a few £100. But
nice one. We've got in the house. It's kind of I suppose more poignant now because of recent what happened with them. We've got one of Sol Bamba's match worn shirts in the house. It turned out the guy that used to cut our grass years ago also cut Sol Bamba's grass when he was living in Dunfermline. And they just we got a tap at the door. It was one night. It was about half 9 at night. The door goes, "Who the hell is this?" And he just says, "I got you this." Handed in the shirt. It's like happy days. Ian, you hand up there.
Yeah, my brother bought me. I was arrested at the May the 6th, 1972 Cup final when we got beat 6-1. I was 14 years old, and so to commemorate that, my brother bought me the replica shirt from that. I also had. And when I worked at Rangers, I did something particularly good. And John Gregg gave me a signed football, signed by all the current squad. And I've got a brilliant picture of my wee laddie kicking it about in the back garden, obviously. And of course, it eventually got burst. But that's the only replica strip I've had.
There it is. Right, let's go to Motherwell on Saturday. Jeff, how do you see this one going?
Yeah, I'm hoping we don't let ourselves down after a good performance at Ibrox. It's one of them. I think we'll win 2-0, maybe 3-0. But Motherwell they're funny. I've watched a couple of their games. The Dundee United Cup tie, the game against St Mirren. If we take care of Lennon Miller and the big guy that always comes on as sub and scores in the 92nd minute, then I'm fairly confident we'll win. Team-wise, it'll be interesting to see what he does, because this will be completely different to the Rangers game. So do we, tactically, we can just keep the same team, but just move them around a wee bit more, give us a bit more freedom up front, or does he move in, say, Levitt into the number 10 role instead of Josh? Do we need Josh's legs? Josh can play a pass, by the way. People are just looking at him as a pair of legs. Remember the ball he played to Nisbet against, was it Dundee United or Motherwell a few years ago? Reverse pass over the top, Nisbet hit on the volley. Lovely pick out. So he's not just a pair of legs in midfield, but however, he's not Levitt. What about Rudy? Is this a game for Rudy to play the number 10? I don't know. So yeah, I see probably jinxed it 2-0, 3-0, something like that. Big Miko to score a couple.
Do you think there's a temptation for Gray to keep the same team because they played well? And I think also the fact that it wasn't like an ultra defensive performance at Ibrox. Like we were on the front foot, so it maybe makes it like a little bit like easier to keep the team. Do you think he might be tempted to do that?
Yeah, if you look at so we make ourselves less defensive. What do we do? Maybe replace Josh. Who else do we move out to make it more attacking? Maybe if Boyle's fit, move him in for Cadden. That would be about the only offensive move I can think of. Those two, we don't know. But yeah, I'd probably stick with the same team to start with that started the game against Rangers. And we've got plenty of scope on the bench, especially if Boyle's fit again, or Newell, or I'd give Ellie another chance. I've had the conversation around him. I just think he's playing like a player within himself because his confidence is shot, and he knows that as soon as he does something wrong, the abuse starts online. He needs a goal, a scruffy goal, do something, a really good assist, and maybe just flourish again. But we'll see. Davy Gray picks him. Davy seems to be in training. He knows what he can do. Yeah, maybe it's a misjudgment, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay, well, have a wee think about a score prediction. I know you mentioned a couple of possibles there. We'll
2-0.
2-0. Hang on to it till we do the rounds at the end, Jeff. Like, see, you can rethink it. I'll come back to you later. Dave, what about you? How do you see the game going? Would you be tempted to make changes to the team?
Well, I would like to sort of stick with the two holding midfielders, and I think the defences should be the same. I think maybe Cadden for right backs, maybe one that you could think about if you wanted to bring Boyle in. But I would like to try and kind of like lock in that confidence with the back and the midfield, and then you can mess with other positions up top. But I think players should be picking the team. If you get an opportunity with 20 to go and you're much better than the guy you replace, well, you're you're in with a shout for starting the next game. But if you're playing really well, better than your the guy that's sitting on the bench, well, I think you're entitled to start next game, with the exception of tactical changes. But the players you mentioned, I don't think anybody should walk back into this team unless there's failures. But I mean, who's like Hoylett isn't like, he's never in doubt that he's not going to start next week. He looks like he might just be the answer to our problems. And maybe Ellie comes on when we're 3-0 up and there's no pressure in the game to get something, and we're free flowing and it's all clicking, and then he finds his spark again, and maybe that's what it is. But it was a tough ask bringing him on in Ibrox. But I don't think anybody's entitled to walk into this team, really. I think I don't think David Gray would undo the work and the trust players are put into him by kind of just like a so-called big name just walking right back in the team. But there's a few positions you could say are up for grabs, and certainly Josh Campbell never done anything wrong, but that's one that you might think would accommodate somebody else. But I fancy it strongly, and unless your eyes are kind of deceiving you, I think we've got enough in the team to take care of them quite comfortably. And at home, I think it'd be great to get a 3 now, keep a clean sheet, and then just keep building and see where we end up.
I agree with that. John, what about you?
Sorry, Tom.
Sounds like one of the Collins 10 out of 11s where you're just trying to work out who's playing in behind the striker. I mean, and every combination you can think of. Somebody who can, I mean, I'd love a wee shoulder charge on Halliday, the same way it was done as on Black a few years ago. Like Scotty Allen, one of those, get him subbed after half an hour because it's just going past him. That's the one position I'm not sure of. And ultimately, that's where the coaching comes in. I mean, could Gale go in there and you've actually got sort of 2 strikers up the top? Depends what his legs are like. I mean, Fox in the box is how he's described. I've not seen enough of his game to see whether he could play the press. They'll play 3 at the back, so we'll effectively be up against a 5-4-1. Would I like to see Levitt in there? Yes. Do I think it'll happen? No. So I think it'll be Campbell and Molotnikov in at the 10. If you were to ask me which one I prefer, I'd rather Molotnikov go at the start.
Would you be tempted to sacrifice that number 10 to play 2 strikers? We'll have Nico and Gale available. Could we go 4-4-2?
If I thought that Gale had 90 minutes in him, because at the moment we have 2 strikers, I'd rather be splitting the game with Miko playing sort of that 60 to 70 minutes and Gale coming on in that sort of last half hour. I mean, so we've always got somebody up top whose job is simply to put the ball in the back of the net. I think if we start those 2, then we potentially finish the game effectively with Harry McCurdy. There's none of the young players that are ready to come through. We know that Ellie has scored goals through the middle, but that's not been his preferred position. I mean, I don't see Boyle being back if he's had a wrist operation and that's when they chose to do it. I suspect it's been that's an international break, 2 games, one away at Ibrox, second one at home to Motherwell, and another break. That's why they're getting their operations when they've got them.
That makes sense.
As I say, Hoylett, I think, will be instrumental for us. If he's playing down the left up against O'Donnell and McGinn, I mean, that's the sort of matchups you're looking for him.
Cool.
And take our chances.
Joe, what about you? How do you see the game going?
Well, I mostly agree with what Josh said a second ago. I'd picked virtually the same team. And although he worked his legs off on Sunday, I'd leave Campbell out and bring in Rudy. We're at home. But, I mean, the back 4, the goalkeeper and Quan and Triantis, they pick themselves. They're automatics now, all of them, I would say, in the last couple of games. Does Chris Carden keep his place? Well, there could be an argument for maybe moving him. But, I mean, basically, we did pretty good against Rangers. Now is not the time to chop and change too much. So other than maybe bringing Rudy, because I think that his flair could... we're at home. Yeah. I think virtually the same team. So I'm more or less agreeing with Josh.
Cool. Ian?
I agree with you that 4-4-2 is an option, and Dwight Gale, I would say, I think is definitely a possibility. I think it'll be a very close game. I think we'll win by 1 goal. Motherwell have been playing very well. I just wanted to ask Joe Capaldi if he has any relation to the basketball player Mel Capaldi, who was my basketball coach.
No, I'm not, but I'm of the same era.
Right, okay, good.
A golden oldie like yourself.
Yeah. So I think it'll be, thanks, Joe. I think it'll be, yeah, I mean, what Joe said, what John said, and what you said, Matty, I think these are and Jeff is all over the place. I can't believe. We usually look to Jeff for decisiveness, but he was really all over the place. So hopefully when he comes back in, he'll have made up his mind. But I think it'll be very close. And I think it's either, as Joe said, that we bring Rudy in, or we bring Gale in, as you said.
Cool. And Shay, what were you? How do you see the game going?
I think it'll be good. I think Motherwell will be good though. As much as they've been good, I think we'll be hopefully we're the favourite team. I think we should go for it, especially now that the international breaks in a couple of weeks. So try and get something positive before we go to Dundee United, then Hearts. So I think it'll be a 2-3-0 sort of game.
Cool, right. I'll push you for is it going to be 2 or 3? Let's get the score predictions. I'll go around to everybody, and I'll start with you, Shay. What are you pumping for?
I'll go 3. I'll go 3.
Right, 3-0, Joe.
I think it'll be a very, very tough. I'm going to go for 1-0 Hibs, but it'll be hard to win. And
Nice
Motherwell
one.
are doing well this season.
John.
1 Hibs.
Dave. Oh, you're on mute.
3-0 Hibs.
3-0 Hibs. Right, Jeff, you got a score for us?
Yes, I have. Do you want it?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
3-0. I've upped it to 3. There you go.
Amazing. And Ian.
I agree with John, 2-1 Hibs.
Nice one, right. So a clean sweep of wins again, which I think is just going to be like the trend through to till whenever we stop doing these. Right, we're out of time. I'm just in the middle of watching. Have you seen the Sopranos documentary that's on Sky just now? Don't know if you are fans of the Sopranos, but we stuck it on before we started recording, and there was 10 minutes left. And I was nearly 10 minutes late for joining in this because I was like engrossed in it. So I'm away to walk the dog and then get stuck back into that. We'll be back tomorrow night with our preview show. So if you want to tune in for that, we use the Fan Hub app to pick a starting 11. So you can join in with that on Twitter and just send us your starting 11s, and we'll go through a few of them on our preview show. In the meantime, thanks everybody for joining in. Joe, I hope your first time was good.
Enjoyed it, yeah.
When
I got there.
Excellent. And yeah, we will